Hi everybody, Bearded Rogue here, and I wanted to talk to you about Amazon's The Tick series. So first of all, I had a few of the Tick comics when I was very young, and watched The Tick on Fox when it was a cartoon. I didn't see the I didn't see the live action series with Patrick Warburton. I've heard that it's pretty good, but I've never seen a single episode of it. So the comic book and the cartoon are really my frame of reference for this new live-action Tick series. So watching this new one on Amazon, I didn't watch the pilot when it first came out. I wanted to watch the whole season, as it were. And they recently released the first 6 episodes. And they are fantastic. It's irreverent, it's silly, it's filled with comic book tropes and utter ridiculousness. The characters are spot on. Arthur is very much the main character. He is dealing with all sorts of issues from his childhood as he grew up. He's now an adult. He is a functioning adult who has all sorts of trauma in his past that he's had to deal with. He also hasn't let go of a conspiracy theory that everybody else believes is crazy. The Tick is just as goofy and silly and stupid and fish out of water as he is in every other adaptation. Doesn't know who he is, doesn't know where he lives, doesn't know how he got his powers, doesn't know whether he's wearing clothes or not. It's that kind of ridiculousness that sets the tone for his entire character. He's very prone to launching off into soliloquies. He uses a very vast vocabulary. He has some of the most ridiculous similes and or metaphors I have ever heard in my entire life. He's just goofy. Arthur's sister Dot is highly capable. Probably the one with her head on her shoulders the most. She's a paramedic, and she is Arthur's guardian, as it were, responsible for making sure that he takes his meds and takes care of himself and doesn't launch too far into his conspiracy theory world. The bad guys are just as over the top and goofy as our heroes. And they all have their own unique little shticks. They are bad people, even though they are silly. They manage to carry that whole like comedic, sardonic tone through the whole thing. An anti-hero exists in the series, Overkill. He's a pastiche of everything Punisher, Batman, Spawn, Deadpool, Deathstroke. Like, he's all of those dark, gritty characters rolled into one and then lampooned. It's fantastic. His sidekick is a talking boat. Yeah. It really is all that. Their Superman analog, Superion, is totally ridiculous. At one point he uses his vision powers to turn gas station coffee into pumpkin spice lattes. It's really, like, if you don't know the Tick, then a lot of it just seems crazy, far-fetched, and ridiculous. And it is. But inside the world of the Tick, it all makes sense. They really did a great job of catching all of the characters that are familiar characters. They really did a good job of keeping the tone with the other characters that are in the series. Just the whole thing is a wonderful little fun romp, and all of the episodes are like 20 minutes long. so it's not going to take you a long time to watch it. You know, there's 6 episodes, so it's like 2 hours of your time, maybe a little bit more. I think the pilot might be a little longer, but they even acknowledge the differences between the pilot and the second episode. There's one point where Arthur turns to him and says, you know, you look a little different, or did something happen? It's just little, like, fourth wall breaking moments scattered throughout, along with the just parody of comic books in general. And like The Tick always has been, it's a parody of comic books that celebrates comic books. It's not a mean-spirited take on comic books. It's not making fun of people who like comic books. It's like a second-level study of comic books, with a lot of comedy and ridiculousness thrown in. I highly recommend it. I think it's really good. I think it's a much lighter tone than a lot of the other superhero things that we're seeing these days, which is very welcome. Even Wonder Woman, which is a movie filled with a lot of hope, is a bit of a downer of a movie, whereas The Tick is like 100% goofy and silly and funny. There is foul language for those who care about it, so it may not be appropriate for your children if that's not something you want them around. There are some scenes with some extreme violence in it. Overkill's debut in the series is particularly bloody. It's over the top, like ridiculous cartoon violence, but it is very violent. Most of the series, however, does not feature violence on that level. It's much more goofy slapstick type violence, and it isn't nearly as bad. But Overkill's debut is very much a brutal scene as far as the series goes. Yeah, it would earn an R rating probably just due to swearing and violence, but I don't think it's too far past PG-13, in all honesty, in my personal opinion. I don't know that I would watch it with young kids, but it's not anything that is going to traumatize somebody in high school for certain. If they've ever seen a horror movie, they're probably fine. But yeah, The Tick, highly recommended. 2 thumbs up. I can't wait for the next season. I don't know if they're just going to be doing 6-episode seasons, or if this is a half season and they're going to be releasing the second half of the season later. I haven't looked into it that much. I just know that the 6 episodes that we have are sheer gold, 100% great, and I highly recommend that you guys check it out if you have the ability to. It was something that we could do that was quick, faster than the Defenders, much shorter episodes, so even when we were tired, we were able to get an episode in here or there. We were able to watch some on a lunch hour and stuff like that. But yeah, The Tick, highly recommended. Amazon did a great job, and I'm looking forward to more. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Bearded Rogue out.